Hello again, everyone. I'm Leon Thomas here with Miranda Kitterlin Lynch. We are the co host of Checking In. I'm glad you are here checking in on another episode of our show. Hi, Miranda. What's happening? Good.
Everything is good. Everything is good. I woke up today. That's good, right?
Hey, right on. Yes, that's always a good thing. Now, here's a question I haven't asked you, and I think the last show I forgot to ask this question.
Yes.
And I don't know the correct answer. Perhaps you do, or perhaps one of our viewers and listeners knows the correct answer to this question. What episode number are we on?
I, I think last time I said it was 100, so I'm going to go 101. Like
101.
the Dalmatians.
Like the Dalmatians. I'm going to do a count on it this weekend. I have the weekend off. There's no racquetball this weekend.
What? What are
That
you going to
that's
do with
a
yourself?
that's a rare thing. I know. I'm gonna just chill. I'm just gonna chill. I'm gonna spend time with my wife. Gonna spend time with my son, whose birthday is on October 2nd.
Nice.
Today, I'm gonna
Good.
spend some time with him. So, I am not going to be at Racquetball Revival, the largest youth racquetball program in the country. I won't be there. I won't be there. And all the kids will probably say, Coach, you're scared. That's why you're not
I
coming.
was
They'll
about to
probably
say.
say something like that, but I will not be there. So I'm just gonna chill. And while I'm chilling, I'll count. I'll find out what episode number it
All
is.
right. All right. I'm excited to find out how far off I am or if I'm spot on.
I have a feeling you're really close. I have a feeling you're close. So Miranda, if folks want to be guests on our show, what do they do? How do they
Well,
get on
they
the show? How do
can
they contact?
email you. And I know that you can share your email on the screen, and I'll let you say it for everybody listening.
Yeah, you can email me at leon at the leonthomasgroup.com. Leon at the leonthomasgroup.com.
Or you can literally just type my name into your search engine. You're not even going to get all the way through, only because it's a very unique name, not because there's anything famous or special.
All right, just Google the name. Google the name. Yes, that's what you do. All right, so we have another outstanding guest for a great conversation. Let's bring our guest on.
Hi, thank you so much for joining us. I know you're going to have some really, really cool advice for everybody listening and uh, some pearls of wisdom, if you will, which I think is one of the best things about meeting and speaking with different people on our show. But before we jump in, would you like to share with our listeners who you are?
Absolutely. Good morning. And so excited to be here today to talk about just my biggest passion in life, which is hospitality and the hospitality industry. My name is Wanda Smith Gisford. I have been in the industry, let's just say a pretty long time. And I started out at the front desk, which I will say all great leaders start at the front desk. So for
Yeah.
those of you who are out there and you have that position, let me tell you, all of the SVPs, the chiefs that I know started at that is where you learn the foundation of hospitality and you can triage. So whenever I go into a new property, I size up that desk. If the desk is strong, the hotel is solid. And so every time it always goes back to that front desk. And I see a witness to that.
Oh, you see it? Can I get a witness? Absolutely. That's where I
Yeah.
started. My first job was as a night auditor.
Oh, wow. Well, let
Yes.
me tell you, I started at the beautiful Holiday Inn Airport North in Atlanta, Georgia. I've always known that I wanted to be a part of hospitality. When we would go on family vacations to Panama City and Daytona Beach, I would just relish in just the concept of the hotel and how we were treated and greeted and made to feel welcome. So I always knew. So if you go back to my high school memory book of where you will be in 10 years, it tells you I will be the general manager of a hotel. I always wanted it. So that's where I got started. After that, I was really just a Jill of all trades. You know, if something was happening on that property, I was a part of it. If someone didn't like to do something, particularly my boss, and this is my first tip to students, when you have a job and your boss hates to do something, that's what you need to love to do. My bosses hated fixing the fax machines, anything with technology, they hated it. So I leaned into that. If the copier was jammed, I'd call Wanda. If this was happening, I became a little small time tech guru around the Holiday Inn Express because I love technology. What happens is you start training people's mind to think of you as an expert. You know, oh, she can get it done. She can do that. And that's a little secret to moving up in life. And as I continued to grow, if I knew my bosses hated something, oh, I love to do that. So every time it came up, they thought of me and they said, oh, call Wanda, she loves to do this. Yes, because it gets me, you know, visibility and that I can really have the agility to go into any space. So tip number one, after the front desk, I was working in the hotel when a computer company that was there to convert us to a different piece of software. And of course, everybody's like, oh, Wanda can help you. Wanda can help you. Well, guess what? When that computer company left, they recruited me as well. And I started a wonderful career with software installations, hardware installations. I was trained to build token ring cable by hand. This was before the days of Cat5 and Ethernet. And I could route, you know, put together Cisco routers and set them up and get Holiday Inn on the system, the satellite system, to take reservations. And that opportunity opened because I just, you know, leaned into technology. I didn't know anything about the IT industry, but I was recruited away and they taught me. So they trained me for the things that I didn't know, but it was because I had the right attitude about being eager to learn. And back in the 90s, everybody was afraid of technology, you know, but I was like, no, I'll do it. And so that's what got me into software installations and opening brand new properties for Marriott, for Hilton. And really, that's when I started traveling internationally. I wore two pagers. This was back in the day where you had pagers. And one was for the call center. If the call center couldn't answer a technical question, I could answer it. So if you're at a hotel and the system would go down, you would call the 1-800 Holiday Inn number and you would get me eventually if tier one couldn't resolve. So then fast forward from traveling and opening properties. Once we opened from a technical standpoint, guess what? Nobody wanted to train the staff. And people are like, okay, it's a different skill set to break open boxes of servers, route these connectors and install them. But once that's done, the staff needs to be trained on how to use computers. And this was early on. I would come into a place and people would have a mouse on the floor. They thought it was a foot pedal. So we were in the early stages of technology shifting, converting people from DOS-based systems to Windows-based. It was absolutely incredible. The Y2K thing, I was there for that. They sent us all out to different hotels to be ready just in case it crashed. But what I learned from that is, again, none of the people that I traveled with really wanted to help train the staff. They wanted to do the install. Hard hats, boots, we would get in there, but then I could switch over to a suit and show you how to use the software as it was intended. Systems 21, I'll never forget what it was called. And again, I was one of two women on a team of 32 men traveling and just making these conversions happen and installations happen. You were either building a new hotel or converting an existing hotel from a DOS space to Windows. And it was a wonderful career, but I developed the talent that nobody wanted to do. Train the staff on the software after the hardware was put in and the software was installed. So then I would train the staff. And that's what got me into my love of HR and training and learning development. And I was able really to parlay that into working in HR on the training side because my undergrad was in HR, right? So it kind of took me back to my roots. But I've always done work for hospitality companies. There's one time I stepped out, and Borders Bookstore was a huge thing back in the day. You remember Borders Bookstore? I was the sales manager there because I love books and I've always worked in like bookstores in college. But no, I'm a hospitality girl. So I went running back to hospitality. I was not too fond of being held at gunpoint for the Lion King box set. You know, people were really aggressively shoplifting during that time. And so, I came back to hospitality, which is my love. And I've just been in HR ever since, specializing in opening properties, mass recruitment. So I specialize in new openings, which means we don't need one or two hires. We need 3,000, 4,000, 12,000 hires at a time. And it's really a science to that. So after working so long, I went back to school and earned a master's degree from UNLV. Shout out UNLV. Let me first shout out Georgia State University. That's where it comes from. And my favorite professor of all time, hospitality professor, Dr. Debbie Cannon, who is still there at Georgia State University leading the hospitality school. And I became an adjunct professor after I received my master's for Virginia Tech. Shout out to the Hokies. So I've had a pretty full career. And the good news about that I tell students all the time, you never know what the face of hospitality will look like. And even being in HR, I serve hospitality workers. You need a hospitality mind to service hospitality employees. How do you expect for them to serve? You know, we always talk about the service profit chain, but it starts internally with your HR team. It starts with your leaders, your managers. You have to build your team up to go on the floor because you don't know what they're going to handle. Being in HR and hospitality, I have handled so many things. I've had a property shut down as a crime scene before. You know, you deal with fatalities. Unfortunately, some people travel and they may have health problems. You deal with a lot, but the front desk prepares you for that because you never know what's coming your way, and you're always willing to step up and do what's needed for the company, for the guests, and just because it's who you are, you know. So this is just who I am. If you come to my house, you're going to get the best treatment you've ever received because it's just who I am. And I really enjoy bringing that to my professional life.
I love it. I love it. You've had such a cool career, just so many neat opportunities that you've been involved in. Also a fellow UNLV grad. So you're in good company. Also worked front desk. And yes, you're right. It does prepare you for everything that you're going to need to know. Yeah, I love it. One thing that I was thinking about as you were sharing is the progression of technology. And you say you never know what the face of hospitality is going to look like. And I feel like today technology plays such a big role in that because we're seeing positions change. Some positions may be eliminated while others are created, right? I don't think that hospitality is ever going to go away. I don't think we're ever going to be replaced by machines because hospitality is the business of people. But I do know that it's going to look differently, right? What are you seeing? Like, first, tell me what's one of the most interesting ways you've seen technology change our industry, and then tell me what you think we're going to see tomorrow?
Yes. So one of the things that I love that technology is bringing to the service industry, it's making sure that we understand our guests well and that we customize service to who they are. Gone are the days where I can walk in a restaurant and in many cases the same servers there, they're like, you want your usual? Yes. And they know who you are. Now, because of how the economy has changed, a lot of new faces are in because gig work is out there for hospitality workers. You can come in and work when it's convenient for you. You almost lose that personal touch of knowing a guest unless you can have something to give you intel on the guest. So I love how technology allows us to customize and really give our guests the preference. And here's an example. When I go to one of my favorite hotels, the Ritz-Carlton in Tokyo, when I sit down for breakfast, I know that they will serve me without even asking half a glass of sparkling water and the other half of grapefruit juice. That's attached to my profile. And so when they see me enter, I sit down and they bring me my specific order. That's the beauty of technology. It allows us to really recognize and give people what they need without asking. Now, here's what that looks like if you just put it in overdrive and how technology really is helpful for hospitality. How many of you have children and you go into a restaurant and there's the little kids menu? Same thing. Chicken nuggets, maybe mac and cheese. What else? Maybe for a kid, maybe a little burger. Wouldn't it be better if when a child goes into a restaurant, the entire menu is customized for kids and it's endless? And if they're lactose intolerant, if you want something gluten free, if they're vegetarian, if they don't eat pork, your menu should be customized to who you are. So you're not limited to those three areas. Many of my friends are vegetarians and they have to fish through these menus to try to figure out what's a vegetarian dish. And when you're a vegetarian, you're serious about it. You don't want meat to even touch your plate. You don't want chicken broth. You don't want any of that. How great would it be if technology could give you a digital menu and now you have 20 pages of vegetarian dishes instead of two? Nancy, bless her heart, I used to travel with a dear colleague named Nancy who is vegetarian, and everybody's like, well, just get a salad, just get a salad. Nancy does not want to live on a salad for a year. It's like, come on. Technology can help us cater to what people need. You got the ingredients in there. Make the whole menu vegetarian, make the whole menu vegan, and just have the chef whip it up. So that's how we can leverage technology. So it doesn't take away from the grace of your server and the interaction, but now that server is a super user. And you can say, listen, I don't want this, I don't want that. And now boop, we customize your menu and everything is for you now. That's how we leverage AI technology with hospitality. The possibilities are just endless. And so we need to think about it in that regard.
That is such a good example. It's so funny that you said that because my youngest, she's 7, and she is a vegetarian now for about 3 months. And I use AI to help me figure out menus that I can easily do for her and the rest of the family. So yeah, I'm living proof that yes, this is a great way to use it. So, Leon?
Yes.
Yeah. Wanda, you mentioned in your introduction that some of the things that you've done in the hospitality industry, and I heard you say front desk, and these are some of the points that you brought up, right? You worked at the front desk. All three of us did, right? And then you talked about you went into technology, which at that time, fax machines was high tech, right? So
Yes.
for anybody that's watching this now, you're going fax machines. Well, first of all, some of you watching may not know what a fax machine is. So look it up, right? And while you're searching, check out telephone data ports. Remember that?
Mm.
That was a big thing. I know the Hampton Inn that I started at, when we put data phones in with data ports, we charged $5 more a night, and everybody came to stay with us because you could dial up to the AOL 800 number. Ooh, it was big, right? So you talked about being at the front desk. You talked about technology, right? Then you went into systems, education, right? And then human resources. Many people that don't work in the industry, that only see it from the outside, that just stay in hotels, eat in restaurants, they don't know all of these pieces, all these things that are involved in our industry. Give us some ideas on how we get students, even at the high school level, to
Mhm.
understand everything that's involved, and how do we get their counselors, career guiders, to help them understand that hotels is more than check them in, check them out, smile, fix, and clean and cook, right? How do we get them to know that? Give us some suggestions.
Oh my gosh, you're speaking my love language. Because it starts in high school. And in many cases, if that high school counselor is uninformed, they can't sell the industry. They don't know how to sell the industry. So it starts with us getting the educators together, bringing them out. And I've done this working with prior companies before. We get a bus of educators and we bring them to a property and we tour them around the property and we let each department have a section where they speak about what they do. So that's accounting, finance, marketing, IT, AV, all of these things, spas, everybody gets to give the educators an education about this industry. Because one of the things about hospitality, we're retail, we're high end luxury retail, we're spas, we're also shows. And the whole entertainment ticketing and booking industry around how you fill up arenas, all of that is a part of hospitality and the experience of these concerts and festivals. That's all a part of hospitality. And it's, let me tell you, I know I'm not supposed to say this, but it's a sexy industry. And you're going to have some fun. You're going to meet some people. Calculating things and entertainment finance is quite different than regular finance. So you get what you're interested in. Hey, be an accountant, great, but come be an accountant in the industry where it's really exciting. You love what you do, you love the people that you work with. So I think it goes back to first, let's equip our educators with the right message. Many times people undercut hospitality as, oh, those are low wage positions. And I used to challenge people and say, what do you mean? How do you know the wages? Because I work in HR, so I have access to everybody's salary. So I know the wages. What do you mean? And I've actually challenged some of the data put out by the BLS about wages for certain positions, in particular, the dealer wage for the state of Nevada. I sat down with the chief economist because I wrote to them by email and said, your data doesn't reflect the data that I have. And we were on payroll for most of the gaming employees, on the Vegas Strip. So let's talk about why it's such a disconnect. At the time when you Googled or went on their site, they were reporting average wages around the $30,000 range. And we knew that wages were around the $90,000 and up range. And so we were able to have a great conversation. And here's the thing, the government listens. That's not a message we hear often, but they sat down with me. They said, let's see your data. How are you reporting this? This is what we're getting. And we were able to change some of the numbers because they want to be as accurate as possible. These are researchers, economists, scientists, data scientists. They want the best information out there. And so they wanted to know, well, what's the disconnect? What employers are not reporting versus the ones who are? So they dug into it for us and they were able to revise that data. So listen, students, there's a lot of bad data out here. I can tell you from a server standpoint, when I hear people saying servers don't make money, I have servers living in the same subdivisions as vice presidents because their tips are strong and they're in service markets where that's, what you typically earn. So don't sleep on service provided roles because people tip and people pay for excellence. So get your server excellence game together. If you go in most of the restaurants in this country after 5 o'clock, you're going to find dinner service done very, very well by a group of professional servers. They take their jobs so seriously. They understand that menu and they're paid, they're compensated. I don't want to go into like private data from companies that I've worked for before, but I have worked for companies where all of our evening servers were over 6 figures, all of them,
Hmm.
because dinner service is more expensive. You're paying for steaks and lobsters and things like that. So the tip percentage gives you a wonderful income. And my favorite server of all times, his name is Michael. He served in the steakhouse at Circus Circus for years, and he put his entire family through college, working 4 nights a week. He was in a band, and he built his home. He raised his family working as a server,
Yeah.
and so the wages are strong and they're good. So invest in it a little bit more. Don't be so dismissive about the hospitality industry and its compensation. So imagine if servers are doing this, once you start moving up, manager, director, executive director, vice president, senior vice president, the wages are really strong. And it certainly affords me a wonderful lifestyle to, again, pay for my children's education and be a homeowner and do other things. So the money is there.
Hmm. Right on.
And
Fashion.
another perk that I often think about because I've worked in the service industry, excuse me, and I have many adult friends now. We're all in our 40s and 50s, still are career servers, bartenders, etc. And at the end of the day, they go home. They don't think about work. They don't have emails to respond to. They don't have Zoom meetings that they need to schedule. They go in, have a great time at a job that they love. They make uh, a great living, and then they they walk away. And I think there's something to really be said for the
Yeah.
value of that type of work life balance being
Yeah.
available in our industry.
I
Right on.
agree. And it's at every level. So you can come out of high school and go into hospitality and you can still be on a 6 figure career track. Absolutely 100%. You can
Hmm.
go come out of community college. We love community college grads because they're perfect for hospitality. And many times, they get there 4 year after they start working and understanding, oh, I want to move up. There will come a point where if you want to be a leader in hospitality, you need that 4 year degree. And I hear people tell college students all the time, oh, you guys are just going to have loans and debt. You don't need a degree. Look at the money I make and I don't have a degree. I want to remind college students that your degree is not for your first job, it's for your future job. You will not have any limitations, whereas other people will. Without a degree, many times you hit a ceiling and you are stopped at that ceiling. So don't get discouraged when you come out of college and you're saying, oh, you want me to work at the front desk or this and that. That's your first job. That your college degree is for your future job. So get in there, learn a system, learn a software, and then go lead it. Move up. So don't buy into this rhetoric that a college degree is not valuable. It is 100% valuable, and it will set you up to lead and to design and to build and to manage the rest of the labor force. So, maybe sometimes it feels like a little short term pain to graduate and not immediately have access to the higher end roles, but you're on the path for that. Know that you're on the path. The other roads do not lead to the same path. And so I was able to bypass. I love you guys, but I let some people at that desk stay at that desk, and I continued to move. And they didn't have the education to go beyond a certain level. It stopped them. But I was not in that group because I a combination of both. I always feel like you need two superpowers. My two, hospitality and HR. And couple that with a degree, and then the sky is the limit.
I love it. I love it. Leon, is it time for our signature questions?
It is. Wanda, it is now time for our signature questions of the show. There's actually four signature questions. Three of them are really fast. Miranda's like, four? No, there's three.
This is
There's
new.
actually four signature questions. Here we go. The first one, racquetball or pickleball?
Pickleball.
Okay, Wanda, it's been nice having you on the show. I hope everything goes well. Continued success to you. It was nice meeting you.
Oh, pickleball. Yeah, I'm always looking at what's next, you
What's
know.
next? What's next is the revival of racquetball. I run a racquetball program called Racquetball Revival in Baltimore. So we always bring that up somehow in conversations. Racquetball Revival in Baltimore.
But
Tutor.
you have
Oh,
to share that it's more than just
It's
racquetball.
way more than racquetball. Yes, thank you, Miranda. Yes, thank you for that.
you know
We
what? But
offer
I
we
think
offer tutoring.
pickleball is your recruitment strategy. You get a foot with pickleball when they really want to challenge and perfect their game, then they're ready for you.
Ah,
Oh,
that's a good idea.
maybe. We offer tutoring in English, math, science, and Spanish, and it's
Oh,
all free. It's free in addition to racquetball, and our kids get pretty good at racquetball too. So it's more than just the sport. Yeah, we do a lot of community things there in Baltimore at Racquetball Revival. All right, here we go. You've traveled. I'm going to send our producer, Orrin Stewart. And Orrin, thank you for producing today for the Leon Thomas Group and checking in. Orrin, I'm sending you an answer to this question right now. All right. The question is, Wanda, have you ever had a Maryland crab cake?
absolutely. Yes, I
And
have.
and that's what I sent in. I sent yes, yes. Where did you have this Maryland crab cake?
So I used to live in Maryland, and so I've had them all over the place. I was a I'm gonna say my favorite place is Pappas.
Pappas. Yeah. Oh, yes, Pappas. Come on. So
Yes,
you lived in near Baltimore, or that
so
was your favorite
I
place?
lived in Laurel for many, many years,
Okay.
and I was all over the place sampling my own crab cake. I did a crab cake tour just to make sure I hit the right spot,
Right.
and I Pappas is pretty on point.
Yes, and the Pappas in Parkville. Here we go back to racquetball. It's like a half mile from the racquetball place, so it's easy to go pick up a crab cake after racquetball. All right, so right on, right on. Question number two. Well, question number three today. Have you ever had bean pie?
Yes. Atlanta, Georgia is known for bean pies. And if you sit at the stoplight long enough, a server will come to you.
Talk about it. Talk about it. Keep going. Keep
Oh,
going.
yeah, with the pie
Tell them
on
about it.
the spotlight to ask you, do you want a slice or do you want the whole pie? So shout out to West End, Atlanta, Georgia. The pies are on point.
Miranda.
I have never,
Miranda.
I had never heard of bean pie, and I'm from the South, so I've had meat pies, crawfish pies, tomato pies. A bean
Mhm.
pie was completely new to me, and I've still never seen one in
Uh,
real life.
Oh,
Um, so
okay. Well,
She
we can fix that.
Bean pie. It's right
There's
at
your
the
true answer.
stoplights. Yes, at
Yes,
the stoplights. Yes,
yes.
that's the bean pie. That's it. That's it. Right on. So those were three of the four.
I
Safety
have our
takeaway.
final one to bring it all in.
Yes.
And this should be the easiest questions of the day. Um, if you could go back and give your 20-year-old self one piece of advice, affirmation, piece of wisdom, what would it be?
Oh, oh, this is good. Well, it'll be two. So one, and I had a really great leader tell me this in my 20s. Get into your 401k as soon as possible and max it out. Just learn not to live with that money. Compounded interest, the eighth wonder of the world. All you need is time. So start that early. And so that's my first piece of advice, and it'll serve you in life. But then, second, have a spirit of adaptability because the world will change and companies change. They restructure, they sell, they merge, they acquire. Be adaptable. I have never followed one leader, I've never followed one company. Your passion is your passion. And so that's portable. You take that with you. There are companies that come in your life for a season and you make them better. They make you better. You learn. But a company isn't your ultimate mission. You find what that is. And that's something that I think has served me well. And I certainly would suggest that for any young person in their 20s. Because what happens, I've seen people fall apart. If their leader changes, oh, I got to work with this person. No, you don't. People change, they grow, they move, they pass away, they get, things happen. Don't connect yourself to a person that you fall apart when they're gone. Make great connections, but allow yourself to learn and grow with different companies at different times because missions change. And so just be true to yourself and don't get so wrapped up. When I was coming along, I'm over 50, I'm a grandmother. People used to, oh, I worked for this company for 30, for 40 years, but were you happy with that? So it's okay to change jobs and companies because sometimes, quite frankly, you can outgrow an organization and you're ready for what's next. And the world is changing rapidly. And so don't hitch yourself so tightly to something that you miss out on your grand calling in life. So be adaptable, move, change, flow. Oh, we're doing this today. We're doing this tomorrow. Do it, change, and don't. It's all about the who moved my cheese. Stop talking about it, gossiping about it. Oh, who did this? Where are they now? I see people looking at my LinkedIn account every day. What is she doing? Don't worry about what I'm doing. I'm, I'm doing great things no matter who I'm attached to, what I'm doing. I'm always going to be doing great things. And so let that carry you from company to company, from state to state. Let that carry you. And then there was one other thing that I'd like to mention that I'd like for young people to really seek out. Please start seeking out two things. One, international opportunities. I cannot tell you how that will put you above the crowd. Get some international experience on your resume. Either study abroad, take internships abroad. There are people who will love to have you in other countries, particularly Japan. They can't get enough English speaking students to come out. Many times you can have free tuition if you find different programs that are seeking. There's an initiative in Japan to have more English speaking students on campuses. Students, please try to get some international work experience. It will take you far in your resume. And then lean into AI, lean into agentic AI. That is the wave of the future. And so teach yourself how to use all of this software, all of these tools that are coming out. they're not going away. So figure out how to use them. Take some free classes. They're offered online in many cases, but prepare yourself for the future. You should constantly build yourself towards the future. And AI is here to stay and it's moving at lightning speed. So couple that with hospitality. Now you're in a whole different league with other people. You're me again. Lean it into the fax machine. Your fax machine is AI, an agentic AI. Learn all about it and get ready for the next surge.
Hmm.
Amazing.
Right
This
on. I
has
like
been
it.
great. This has been just fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you, Wanda. Thanks for being with us. This has been great. Thank you. Thank you. And Miranda, wow, the nice, excellent information from Wanda, huh?
Yes, yes. She took me on a trip down memory lane with technology and its progression, thinking about ideas for the future. I wrote down so many notes to bring back
Yeah,
to talk to my students and my industry associates and friends. So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Me too. I commented about the fax machine, right?
Mhm.
Because again, that was tech back then, right?
Yeah.
You remember when we went from the thermal paper to the plain paper
Yes.
fax,
Yes.
right? That was something big, and from hard keys to key cards,
Hmm.
right? And now the phones. And now everything that's going on now with AI. Yes, great advice from Juan. Thank you so much.
Amazing.
And folks, if you'd like to be on the show, or you know someone who would be a great guest, contact me, Leon at the Leon Thomas Group is my email address, or you can contact Miranda, and as she says, just search her name. She's the only one. We're still waiting for Miranda Kitterlin Lynch number two, and we'd love to have her on the show as well.
100%.
So, folks, thanks for watching, checking in, and we'll see you next time. Take care.